Hey everybody, it's Father Keith, and I am just so excited to be telling you about a new series that we have coming out called Love Thy Neighbor. And what we're going to do is focus on our outreach. As you know, it is Jesus who said that we need to worship the Lord with all our heart, mind, and soul, as well as love our neighbors as ourselves. It was a commandment from our Lord Jesus Christ himself. He also further said in Matthew, "For I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." And that's what we're here to talk about today. Outreach. Because of your generous giving, and it has been this way for so many years, we've been able to actually help people in so many ways. Our outreach department, if you remember, our committee, I should say, it was started a few years ago, and they have done a fantastic job getting the budget itself okayed by the vestry. We've put the committee in charge of finding who it is in our area that needs help the most. I would like for us to go and look at the different organizations in our community, as well as talk to the people who are running it, as well as some of our parishioners, and why their hearts are on fire about taking care of our community and loving our neighbor. And so therefore, I'm hoping that you're going to come and join me as we look behind the curtain, behind the scenes of how everything works, from different organizations like Helping Hands, to food pantries. We're going to look at different ones. Obviously, we cannot look at all of the different ministries that we do. However, we're going to try to hit on some of the highlights. So again, I hope that you're going to come and join me as we go and see and explore the different organizations that help our community love our neighbor. Come. I want to just show us outside for a few minutes because this is where it all starts, in what we call God's entrance. Outside the door, this is where we're to help, and where Jesus tells us to love our neighbor by helping them, feed them, clothe them, help the sick. And again, because of your generosity, we have been able to do this even in a pandemic time. So come with me as we go and we start to head out to the different organizations that we're going to see today.
Hi guys, my name is Daniel Roby. I'm the Executive Director for Austin Street Center. We're one of Dallas's largest emergency shelters for people who experience homelessness. And we provide shelter, clothing, food, and storage for the belongings of over 400 people that come to us for their basic needs every single day. So what does a homeless person need? Now, homelessness is often a catch-all term for so many other social ills, like physical and mental health disabilities, like poverty, like addiction, like sex trafficking. We can't address all those things today, so we're gonna try to do our best just to stick on homelessness. But I wanna say first off that there are no real homeless people, right? There's just people, and those people just happen to be experiencing homelessness at any given point in time. First off, there's people who cannot. These are people with significant mental and physical challenges. These are folks that are not able to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. They're gonna need help and support for a long time in the future. The second group of people are have-nots. These are people that they've run on hard times. They may be living paycheck to paycheck, something goes awry, the car breaks down, the medical bill comes in, they're just not able to keep pace with the demand, so they experience homelessness, but mostly are able to self-resolve with some supports within a few weeks because they have some sort of source of income coming in. The third group of people are folks that are just not ready yet. They may not be willing or prepared to go through the process of ending their homelessness and all the administrative requirements and all the things that are required in order for somebody to really move into their own place or go into an emergency shelter. Now I want to talk about my favorite subject, which is Austin Street Center. Austin Street has been around for 34 years. We serve the most vulnerable, which how we define that as men over the age of 45 and women of any adult age. Women, while they're homeless, almost 78% of them experience some level of physical or sexual victimization during their homelessness. And so we feel like all women are vulnerable, so we want to make sure we provide safe shelter for all of them so they're not outside in the elements, under bridges, and in places where they are victimized or feel like they need to trade themselves just for their own safety or for their basic needs, like a meal. Older men are more likely to be victimized on their streets. They're also more likely to be overlooked by social service providers. So this is a vulnerable group of people as well. Now let's define what's harmful, what's helpful, and what Austin Street Center is doing differently to end people's homelessness. See, for so many years, our core function was to provide life-sustaining services. This meant that we provided 3 meals, a bed, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But our mission has grown to so much more because we're ending people's homelessness experience so that they no longer need our services, and that's the best thing we could possibly do. Not everyone who comes to an emergency shelter needs emergency shelter. We may be able to find some alternative shelter for them, or we maybe work on some relational mediation to keep somebody in whatever living situation they have, even if it's not the best, because it may be better than them ending up on the streets. We work with a lot of area shelters, a lot of addiction and mental health treatment providers, a lot of housing providers. It takes everybody at the table in order to really make an impact in our city, and we believe that. There's so many people out there that they really just need a job, okay? And we work with those people too. So we launched an employment education program in 2015. We work with over 15 different companies that find talent through our program. We're working with a lot of great employers to help give people jobs. We've assigned case managers to go and visit our former clients after they've received housing, whether that's independent housing on their own or some type of supported housing, so they receive a lot of encouragement and support. They can stay in their apartment and we don't see them back at the emergency shelter. We never want people to have to come back, or at least we want them to come back with a smile on their face just to give back and volunteer. You may be able to identify with the feeling of seeing a homeless man or woman and not being sure if you can really make a difference. This year, Austin Street Center helped 80 people end their homeless experience. Next year, we'd like to see that number be 200. Your donation will end homelessness for someone in your community when you give to Austin Street Center.
Hey everybody, I'm continuing our series of Love Thy Neighbor. I'm here with Libby Card. Libby is the Community Relations Coordinator for the Austin Street Shelter. And Libby, I want to thank you so much for coming out here today on a rainy day to come and see us. Libby, as we were talking, I want people to understand a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes at Austin Street Shelter. You guys do so much. And I don't know if everybody knows that. You guys work so hard to help the citizens in Dallas and people who are in need. And that is fantastic. Because Jesus tells us that we are supposed to help the poor, put clothes on the naked, to feed the hungry. And you guys fulfill that, which is incredible. Let me tell you, I would say that probably for most people here at Holy Trinity, that we kind of know of Austin Street Shelter because we've been giving to them as well as doing sandwiches for them for quite a few years. And I think that's probably the first thing. Wouldn't y'all agree? One of the first things that y'all would think about when we talk about Austin Street Shelter is the sandwiches. We make sandwiches. We give them to Karen Morrison, and then they go out to you guys. But I know, and we love doing it. We just have a group of a lot of people here who just love doing the sandwiches. But I would like to learn a little bit more because there's more to it, right?
Absolutely.
So one of my questions is, what is the overall mission to Austin Street Shelter?
Yeah, so Austin Street, we've been around for the last 37 years. Our mission from the very beginning and heart has been the same throughout. And so specifically for us, it's going to be providing safe shelter for our clients and meet the basic needs of the most vulnerable here in Dallas of the area. So for us, what most vulnerable looks like, it's going to be men who are 45 and older and women who are 18 and older. So as long as they have a government issue ID and they have fitting in that age range, they qualify as a client at Austin Street.
Okay, wonderful. That's absolutely incredible. And so in this age range, are there other criteria and stuff that y'all help with?
Absolutely. So at Austin Street, the goal is to meet the basic needs. So when you think about basic needs, it's going to be food, clothing, shelter, getting those basic immediate needs met. So that way clients can, get out of their current situation. If they have those basic needs met, it's a little bit easier to apply for that job or a little bit easier to go out and find housing. We want it to be as simple as possible. And we also don't want there to be a lot of requirements and strings attached. So for example, clients don't need to, have a background check or a drug test. We want it to be simple and easy for clients to get out of their homeless situation.
And do y'all have a program of talking with them? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. So our model pre-COVID was really different than what we do now.
We can understand that.
So we had 400 clients every single night, and they would come off the streets in the afternoon time, and they would come in and get those basic needs met, but also they had the option to meet with a case manager about their specific situation. So whether they had, housing questions or job questions, helping with interviews, resumes, that support, and having classes that they can, reach out and be able to get involved that way, as well as there's a lot of, drug and alcohol support, mental illness and classes, things that clients can get in and relate to and speak with somebody that really understands their situation. So they could do that, in the evenings when they would come in. But now with our current situation, our clients are still sheltering in place. So they're able to do that around the clock 24/7 at this point. So we are very thankful for that.
That is absolutely incredible that y'all have coordinators and counselors who can help connect them to the more core issue that's going on in their life. And that has to be so special for them to have somebody who feels like they care.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people feel like on the street that nobody cares for them anymore. And that's going to be a very lonely feeling in life. And to have somebody to be able to help them and kind of point them in the direction. When you said education, what kind of education classes are you talking about?
Yeah, so education mostly as far as getting a job or computer classes, even things such as just your basic cell phone class, we offer those as well. And we have community partners that come in and are able to teach those classes and volunteer their time to really just educate our clients on what, everyday life looks like outside of the streets and outside of a shelter. And so they're able to go to those classes different times throughout the month, sign up for those and work with someone who really has a heart for teaching and also is able to do it in, the simplest form and explain thoroughly so that way our clients can have the basic knowledge and move on to the next step of getting that job or, going out and finding housing like I discussed. So.
Wow. That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And so there are y'all at least connect them to say job training.
Exactly. Job training, anything that really surrounds jobs as far as resume building, mock interview examples, things that are going to, boost their confidence because when somebody's coming off the street, they might not have those skills coming from their circumstance. Some of them do and some of them don't. So we want them to be on the same playing field and have access when they're ready to partner with us in that way.
That's absolutely incredible. And so you serve the the Dallas area?
Yes.
Or?
So, the client can come from anywhere, essentially. For example, we have clients that will get on a bus. Let's say, hypothetically, they had a broken relationship and they're from Tennessee and they just got on the first Greyhound bus out of town and they came to Dallas. So it really is a wide variety. Specifically, our goal is to end homelessness in North Texas and Dallas specifically, but we have clients from all over the U.S., truthfully.
That would be a beautiful goal.
Yeah.
To end homelessness.
Absolutely.
It's something I would love to see
I
in
would
my
as
lifetime for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, Libby, what is one of the success stories or something you've observed? I know when we were talking, you've been there since January,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So what a year to start
Of course.
in Austin Street Shelter.
Of course. It's been a wild ride, but it's been an amazing ride to see just the Lord's faithfulness, and even through all of this, that his love and his mercies and purpose and his plan for our clients is still the same at the end of the day. And so for us, the biggest, amazing story that we've had up to this point is we have 250 clients at the shelter at this point, and all of them are COVID free. We've had no virus in there since at all the entire time. So it's definitely been a big blessing. And to just see, our clients regain something through quarantine has been really interesting. For example, last month, for June, we had 48 housing placements just in June alone. So who would have thought that in a pandemic that we would have housing, but we did. And we've successfully been able to serve our clients that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible. And what a challenge to not have the virus in the shelter.
So we take a lot of pride. We took a lot of preventative steps early on, even before March and things.
You had to.
We had to, because we had, the well-being and the health of our clients at stake. And that's always the priority at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And to think ahead and the challenge, that has to be one of your biggest challenges now.
Of course.
Because you've got people just coming in from everywhere. So
wow. It's definitely been an adjustment, and we did have shelter in place for quite a while. So that helped, just keeping it a controlled environment. Clients are able to leave, twice a week now, but still with clients coming and going, still no COVID. So we're very blessed by that.
Wow. Good job.
So, thank you.
Wow. What would you say brings you the most joy in the work you do?
Yeah, I think it really starts from when I was little, and my dad actually worked at a shelter. I'm not from the Dallas area, but that's how I first, was exposed to the other side of the world that some people might have never seen before. And so being a young girl and seeing what, adults are going through, and a lot of times it's not always just what happened to them situation. It might have been a broken relationship or a job or, financial hardship. And so seeing that as a kid, it just kind of spiraled into my passion for wanting to get these individuals back to their purpose, letting them, go down a path that is full of life and not darkness, and getting to see a look on a client's face when they get a hot meal or when they get, a toothbrush for the first time in a really long time, having those personal relationships. If I'm walking throughout the shelter, creating those relationships, always stopping and saying, what's your name? Tell me your story if you're interested. So creating those personal relationships, because it was something that was modeled for me as a young girl. So.
Oh, wow. What a great model.
Yeah. Yes.
Good. Well, I'm glad, because ministry, I tell people at Holy Trinity all the time, your ministry should bring joy to your heart. That's what ministry is about. Well, my last question for you is, what else any ideas of what can Holy Trinity or our members do for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So sandwiches are always an amazing way to partner with us. It's clients getting, that basic need as far as food in their stomachs, and they're being nourished, and it's a great partnership. As well, you're more than welcome to do a clothing drive. All of our clothing items are strictly from the community. It's not something that we buy. So whether that's jeans and t-shirts and just everyday wear, as well as tennis shoes, anything that's closed-toed is perfect for our clients. You can also even partner with us financially, giving with us, because that sometimes is ways we can use the funds for our basic needs and operations, and getting those clients' basic needs and the oddball items you might not always think about. And then, of course, lastly, whenever you guys, all of this COVID is to pass, at some point, we would love to have you guys out for a service day, volunteering your time and efforts, whether that's helping in the kitchen or helping in our welcome center, organizing our donation room. We always have a need for on-site volunteers. So we would absolutely love that in any capacity.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, it looks like we have our work cut out for us. I love it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us and partnering with us. Your prayers and support mean the world, and we're beyond blessed during this season. when it's a little bit chaotic, we're thankful for those who partner with us.
Well, again, I want to thank you. I'd shake your hand, but we can't.
I know, right?
So,
Thanks for
let's
having me.
stay safe. Absolutely. Thank you for being
Yeah.
here. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for watching us. We're going to be hearing from our very own Karen Morrison very soon. And so I want to thank you once again. Peace. Well, everybody, we're back. We are here today with Karen Morrison, one of our very own here at Holy Trinity by the Lake. She is an advocate for Austin Street Shelter, and I'm so glad, Karen, you've come today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'd love to ask you a few questions because we're just so proud of all the work that you do and showing Holy Trinity how to really get started and how to work on ministries and how to love our neighbors, which is what this whole series is about.
Exactly.
It's called Love Thy Neighbor. Karen, my first question to you is, how did you get started?
My old church, well, my prior church, had a priest called Father Charlie.
Uh-huh.
And Father Charlie got me started. He introduced, then it was her husband, Harry, and his wife was called Bubba, from Austin Street
Mm-hmm.
to my church. So we got a hands-on what it was about. So then he had somebody get into trouble and needed some community service. By then, we'd started Austin Street packing on sandwiches. Well, that's something that they could do. They could make sandwiches and work their community service off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got started. I did that for a long time. And they would even go down to the shelter with me and pass out the sandwiches. So they was learning and working off community service hours to get out of trouble that they got into. So that was helping. And the one thing I tell the youngsters of today at the church, keep a log of your hours of when you make the sandwiches or anything that you're doing, because it looks good on college education.
That's actually very true.
So you don't know if you're doing 5 hours or 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you keep a log, you keep track of your hours.
Oh, so you've been doing it for
Since
quite
2007.
2007. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, what role do you play at Austin Street Shelter?
Well, I'm the transporter of the sandwiches. Basically, somebody else does the behind scenes and tells them when we're having our sandwiches. And I go down there. They changed the time. We was serving at 6, but now I got an email today that they're going to start doing it at 5:30.
Okay.
So
A
I
little
give
more
out
pressure for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I just got to make sure I get the sandwiches down there by 5.
Right.
So I say the prayer, and I help pass out the goodies if there's any goodies there, like toothpaste, socks, whatever.
Mhm.
But my main thing is prayer request.
Okay.
And I do the prayer request as they're finishing up the line. And here's the prayer box.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that here in a minute.
But,
I'm very
other than that, I say a great big goodbye when I leave. They know that I've been there.
Well, it's a little more, I think, even more involved in that because I've seen you at work and I've been there. And you first of all, you pick up sandwiches from us, but we're not the only ones.
No.
You're picking them up all over
Yes.
all over the city of Dallas.
Well, I make 9. And then after I leave here, there's another guy that does it every month. And I go pick up his because he lives in Heath.
Okay.
He used to go to my church.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm still glad that they're doing it.
Right.
But there was a point where when I changed churches and I came to Holy Trinity, I was really excited because I sat in the first yearly deal and I looked in, I took Austin Street. I was so excited. And then I continued reading. That was discontinued in October.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that broke my heart. So it's like Brotherhood St. Andrews talked to our St. Brotherhood, and they got together, and because we needed somebody to make sandwiches.
Right.
That's how Garland and started doing it. And then when Garland's not doing it, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So,
we did have a period of time where people just stopped. I don't know what the reason was, and then
well, it was the same person doing it over and over.
Well, that's right. That's what I mean. It dwindled down to one person, and then it was about 6 months later, people started coming, and also it has been on fire since. So sometimes that happens. So when you pick up the sandwiches and you bring them there, you have a pretty nice operation there. Can you tell us a little bit? How do you, sandwiches? So what kind
well,
of
we
sandwiches?
saved bags.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go through the line, they have one of those plastic bags so they can put their sandwich, or sometimes they have other goodies like an orange or an apple, cupcakes, or something salty or something sweet. And then they usually have a taco salad that they was giving out. But here lately, they've been having to get out lasagna.
Okay.
So that would been different. So
Yeah.
hopefully next month we can go back to the taco salad and passing out the sandwiches. They're going to accept 4 people next month.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually impressed the times that I've been and the long table of the different types of sandwiches. So they get in line and they can pick out what sandwich, and like you said, fruit or potato chips if those are the taco salad.
Right.
I've seen that go through the whole line, and it's really, and people are so nice.
Yes. And they always tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. So it's an incredible operation, and how respectful everybody is, and making sure that everybody gets something to eat and taken care of. What do you think brings you the greatest joy in your ministry?
Going to Austin.
Going to Austin Street. Okay. I can see that. It's something about loving our neighbor, isn't
Exactly.
it? And it really just sets your heart on fire. I say this in every interview. I've always taught that your ministry should give you joy.
Right.
If it's not giving you joy, you need to look for another ministry.
Right.
Because we want to feel God flowing through us, the Spirit flowing through us. You brought a box, and I'd like to know a little bit more about it.
Well, inside this box, we have pieces of paper, and we have some jewelry that we've even passed out.
Oh, okay.
You know, you don't think it's a little thing.
Right.
You know, somebody donated some for your teeth.
Right.
You know, or a toothbrush, or that we usually pass out when we're doing the prayer box. But anyway, we put all the prayers in here and then put them in a plastic bag, and they go home with someone else who does the prayer.
Okay.
So,
Oh, we'd love to have.
but to me, this is a big blessing on a lot of them. They
Yeah.
love the prayer box.
Well, if anytime you want to write down or read the prayers of people, or they need special prayers, send them to us.
I will.
Also, we'll be glad
I will
to.
do that.
I'm sure a lot of churches in the diocese would love to have copies of that and pray. And it's fantastic. That is just wonderful. Well, let me ask you, what? Really, my last question is, what do you think, or how do you think Holy Trinity can help you in your ministry with Austin Street?
They're doing a good job.
Good. Well,
Every month it's getting more and more sandwiches. I think we did 75 either last time or the time before. Maybe it was the time before.
Yeah, you
But
need
that was
75
including
loaves, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, wow.
But that was including the 14 that I picked up after here.
Okay.
Because
That's
I never
fantastic.
know when I leave here if I'm going to pick up 7 loaves or 4 loaves or 14. You know, but it's all blessing.
Mm-hmm.
No matter, because God knows my need, and I say my prayers, and He follows through. But now instead of the almost 400 that we was feeding, it's down to 250, I think, that they're accepted in there. Because
Right, that's what Libby was talking earlier.
So but no matter how many sandwiches, if they don't get fed one day, they get fed 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my goal, is
Right.
to pass the love.
Oh, it's just fantastic, Karen. Karen, I was telling Libby earlier, I said, you're kind of the closest to a saint I know. And the things you do. No, you really do. And I will tell you that you actually inspire me. And I hope you inspire a lot of people
Thank you.
of getting out and doing it, right? a lot of people can have a lot of ideas, but it's people actually getting out and doing it. That's the hard part.
How hard is it to make a loaf of bread into sandwiches?
Yeah, I know our family has fun.
You know,
We have fun
I
on the
know
assembly
exactly.
line.
It was see me and my family. I have my oldest daughter and her husband, and her son, and the spouses. We have a Sunday afternoon. We get together at 1:00 and we make our 9 loaves, and we're done. And then I come pick up my sandwiches from here.
Wow.
It's a system, but you know.
It's incredible what you do, and you know, as I've told people in the church, you've heard me. It may be just a sandwich to someone, but it's life.
Exactly.
Somebody else. It keeps them going for another day.
Exactly. And then if we pass out the taco sauce, the ketchup, and that kind of stuff that, you know, that you can add to it. Mm-hmm. The spices. Who doesn't think about, you know? Right. And we just had somebody who was talking about that and sent it to us. So, yeah, we're going to have a big call in here for the condiments and stuff, so that, you know, that people can enjoy that, because you're absolutely right. It's you don't think about it until somebody starts it, and then that's the way all ministry or any ideas. It's like, hey, wait a minute, why haven't we been doing this forever? Exactly. Right? So we're doing. Well, Karen, I just want to tell you, I'm very proud. I'm proud of so many people in this church that do things, but I'm very proud of you and what you do. You walk the walk, and I just love that. And thank you. Thank you so much for all you do. My pleasure.
Hi, my name is Darryl Tidwell.
My name is Danielle Williams-Cross.
My name is Ben Sonnenberger.
My name is Michael Lindsay.
My name is John Lavender.
My name is Robert Williams.
My name is Joe D.
Hello, everybody. My name is Donna Lloyd, and I came to Austin Street in 2012. My mom had passed away. I took care of her for 12 years in Nacogdoches, Texas, and I didn't have anywhere to go.
I lost my wife about 6.5 years ago, and the house got foreclosed. I was taking care of her full time, and she was a great teacher with the ISD.
I fell down on my luck around December for the 5th time.
I got into a depressed state, and I said, you know what? I said, I just want to, you know, commit suicide. I want to kill myself.
2010, I was here, homeless, and was down on my luck.
I lost my 20-year-old son. My wife asked me to go out to get her 2 ginger ale sodas. 15 minutes after he left, we got a call he was shot in the head. So I was mentally messed up. I wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to do a lot of vicious things. But I got online and I found a shelter, Austin Street Shelter. I was able to vent, I was able to share without nobody even thinking negative about me.
My faith has been encouraged to grow here. I've been able to sing in the choir here in the chapel. I've also started a small group.
We're the new Faces of Homelessness. There's doctors, lawyers, teachers, professionals, everybody. You're one paycheck away from being homeless. We are hopefuls. We're not homeless.
They started these programs up. And I'm saying, boy, I have to get out from one of them programs where I keep things going straight. And so they helped me get out from the program, and from there, things is getting a whole lot better.
I just recently got a job at the Dallas Convention Center for their janitorial maintenance department. And I didn't have any uniforms. I got new pants, new shoes to go to work and make money so I can go and get my own place in a car.
Since 2012, I have my own apartment. I come here to volunteer 4 days a week. I volunteer at the VA. I just like to give back.
This Austin Street Shelter has been a blessing for me. I could have been dead. I could have been in jail for the rest of my life. They opened the doors for me with open arms, and it was truly a blessing for me being here.
This place is a blessing and a half. It's the best.
And that's my story.